Hello, team. I want to discuss a system with you that can be used to accomplish critical goals that we may face in the future. The system that we will be discussing is called the 4 disciplines of execution, though this system can be simply referred to as 4DX. Along with this, we will also be discussing 2 types of change that we must use to understand how to implement this system in the necessary ways. When we are finally able to understand the system, you will not only be able to apply it to your work within the team, but also personal goals you may have for yourself. As stated before, the 4 disciplines of execution is a system that can be used by any individual to focus on specific important goals. We will refer to these crucial goals as wildly important goals, or WIGs for short. Whether you are focusing on a goal in your personal life or within a work team environment, most failures come about because of an inability to execute plans consistently. Often, goals are set with intention. However, over time, these plans slowly start to disappear as we become consumed by struggles of daily life. The 4 disciplines of execution can remedy this problem. It also allows you to work at the important goals you have set while simultaneously providing a structured approach and preventing daily tasks from interrupting the progress you may be making. The first discipline that we will be speaking about today is focus. What the structured system means by this is focusing on the WIGs that have been made and set in place. Remember that a WIG is a high-achieving goal that will have immense impact on yourself, the team, or organization you are working for. It is important to note that no one can focus on everything at once, and if you lay out too many goals to focus on, it's unlikely that you will actually achieve all or most of them. We must lay out and set only 1 or 2 WIGs. By doing this, we will be able to apply maximum attention and effort into these few goals, and in doing so, the achievements will be more likely to be met. This step is meant to help us push aside the factors and distractions and help us put as much effort as possible into the goals that mean the most. You may be asking how this applies to us if we are working in something like a corporate team setting. Let's say, for instance, that our wildly important goal is to preserve at least 30% of our current customer base within the next 2 years. This is a very straightforward, quantifiable goal that is very important to the success of the entire company. We have been able to focus our sights on this one goal. Now, all of our effort and actions will aim towards completing this specific goal. We now move on to the second discipline that is laid out within the process. This is labeled as leverage. Leverage crucially deals with lead measures, which can be simply defined as reoccurring activities that drive and lead us to the outcome we want most. On the other hand, these outcomes are known as lag measures. So, if our goal is to preserve at least 30% of our current customer base within the next 2 years, the lag measure could be pointed out as the number of customers we were able to keep with the company after 2 years. A lead measure would be the actions we took in that time to influence customers to stick with the company. We can change these actions over time, and in doing so, we will increase the likelihood that customers decide to stay. What I want you to understand the most from this discipline is lead measures, and how you can change and shape them to give you an advantage and power in ultimately achieving the wildly important goal. They are one of the few factors you can control, so focus on them. The third discipline in 4DX helps us with keeping track of the progress that we make in pursuit of our goal. I want you to think about a scoreboard. A scoreboard can have great effects on the pursuit of a goal. When someone is keeping a score, they can stay aware of their progress and make difficult decisions. A scoreboard can directly create motivation that can drive an individual or a team to success. When we use such a scoreboard in terms of the 4DX structure, we are going to use it to track our lead and lag measures. We also want to make sure that the scoreboard is clear and concise. We want it to be easily understood by everyone who reads it and where we are standing with our goals. Are we failing or are we succeeding? On our scoreboard, we may track things like statements made to current customers. This would be lead measures. We would also track the percentage or number of customers we have been able to retain. When these numbers change on the scoreboard, we know exactly where we stand. Ultimately, This discipline helps to create motivation and progress by showing us the changes in real time. The last discipline that we will be discussing is accountability. This discipline helps to ensure that all the previous steps and progress we have worked on do not get lost or fade. When we use the 4DX situation, we will have reoccurring sessions to focus on accountability. In these sessions, we each need to report the lead measures we have taken and promise to take on responsibilities until the next session. In each session, we want to lay out and understand what everyone, 1, has committed to and took responsibility for in the last period. 2, if they were able to meet the expectations of those commitments. And 3, what commitments and responsibilities they can take on in the next period so that we can further the progress of the lead measures. These meetings will help a team or any individual stay focused and understand what actions must be taken that will contribute to the success of the individual or the team. This, of course, is necessary in pushing forward to our wildly important goal. The 4DX structure appropriately addresses 2 types of change, those being stroke of the pen changes and behavioral changes. Stroke of the pen changes are changes that can be made relatively easy or made through an easy decision. An example of this kind of change would be a company, team, or individual signing off on a contract that could enact change quickly. There's no need to change behavior in this example. I just make a simple decision and action creates this change. On the other hand, we have behavioral changes. These are changes that require us to put in consistent work and effort. This kind of change often has a great impact on the ability to reach goals and achieve results. An example of this kind of change in a team could be changing the way that we interact with our customers that will be helping us keeping customer retention. These are actions that may take more time and effort. Behavioral change is the kind of change that the 4DX framework really focuses on. By changing the interactions and choices that we make on a daily basis, we are more likely to achieve our wildly important goal. I want to conclude this presentation by quickly summarizing and reminding everyone why we chose to use the 4DX framework. It is important to remember how busy our lives and careers can be. When we are constantly dealing with daily occurrences, it's easy for our overarching goals to fade into the background and ultimately not become a priority. When we use the 4DX framework, we can focus on the things that really matter. We can start to make actions that have a direct influence on the success of our goals. We can track the progress that we are making in those goals and hold ourselves and others accountable for making the progress that is necessary to achieve those goals. Thank you for listening to this presentation, and I hope each of you are able to make the 4DX system, take it and apply it to your own life, no matter what goal you are trying to reach. I know this system will be crucial to the success of our team.